Good morning and welcome to Trading with Larry. Larry Benedict, joined by Eric Shamalov, back with me today. Missed a couple of interesting days for sure. Your first day out was a down NASDAQ day. They had to take a picture because it hasn't happened in a while. And then the next day, not only, on Tuesday, the Nasdaq was down about 200, which would almost be a percent, and then rallied 70 on the bell. And then it was weird. The computer shut off. There was no market movement, and then um, the market closed, and yesterday was up 300 or 250. So here we sit, and the market is right here. And it was funny. I was actually watching Nvidia trade a little bit last night, and there was news out of the Emirates. I think released by our government, believe it or not, that they set up a chip deal to buy $2 billion of chips. Okay, and Nvidia is up over $100 billion in market cap today alone. Forget yesterday; it was up 150 billion in market cap. So it's up a quarter trillion in the last 2 days, basically bigger than 90% of the companies that exist in the world. And I read this stat yesterday, but in the MSCI index, Nvidia accounted for, before this move, 5.1% of that index, and the entire country of Japan is 4.7. So, and this is a chip maker, by the way, just a chip maker. Okay, they're not like Apple, where they're diversified in zillions of businesses. I'm sure they have other things, but you said before we got on the podcast, it's like one circular deal banking on literally one company to 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 grow so much revenue that OpenAI at this point should be the largest company in the world. I mean, literally in the world, and it hasn't done one thing yet. It's
I just wonder if this whole ecosystem has become too big to fail at this
It
point.
ha- well, I would say it's probably at some point going to minimally have massive hiccups, but I don't even think there's revenue there. Like, what do you think OpenAI's revenue is? They don't have any money. You know that they're out raising money at different valuations all over the place, and they have a $500 billion valuation on a company that is really, I would say, a startup. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Obviously, markets continue to go higher without any type of correction. I pointed out a couple of times on little down blips, my computer has been shutting off the exchanges. So I don't know if that's a micro burst of volume or what that is, but when the sell off actually happens at some point in the faraway future, we're going to have volume exponential to this volume. That's a guarantee. It's not a guarantee when it's going to happen, but that's a guarantee. And I don't think that these systems are robust enough to handle the flow that we're going to see. And, you know, it's
Are you saying we traders need faster computers for what's coming?
No, I don't think it has to do with that. I think it has to do with the exchanges. I don't think it has
Oh,
to do with your computer. I think the exchanges can't handle the volume that's coming in. I don't think it's the speed of my computer. My screen went literally black. The whole screen blacked out. Couldn't execute an order, and I was worried um, that could happen when I really need to execute an order. Um, we always worried about cyber attack or whatever. That's not a cyber attack, but that's a true fact of what will be here, 100%. So, you know, be leery, make sure you make moves, but again, um, I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to hedge my risk and exposure, which is a little disheartening to me. You know, and I think Powell is speaking this morning. I don't think he has much to say about anything. And I don't know. You still have this thing that it's 99% priced in. I don't know if you have a broken Fed funds futures, because I was talking yesterday to Clint, and they're only pricing in one cut, I think, for the rest of the year. I don't know if
No,
that's correct or not correct.
that's not correct. Not correct. I think they're pricing in two more.
I don't think so. I think there's one and then one later next year, and that's it. But I don't know. You could pull up the Fed fund futures, but I am of the camp that if the government is closed, first of all, they shouldn't be cutting because inflation is much, much hotter than anybody can even imagine. It's not
Here it is. Yeah, here it is, my
absolutely.
man. It's 84.4% probability of the implied rate hitting 3.65%. We are currently at 4.09, which means that there's an 85% probability we get 50 basis points by December. Now,
No,
what's
I
interesting
would
is that
bet against that all day long, all day long.
as soon as the year is over, those odds of further rate cuts really fall hard and below 50-50. So
They're pricing in
that's
only
where we're at.
one cut for the next year. Like, I don't even know how they can know any of this. Like, how do they know? I mean, the market's potentially falling off a cliff here. Between jobs and a slowdown in general, and nobody's looking at the government shutdown, which is entering what its second week. I saw they had Hakeem Jeffries on. they're not even they're not even in the same stadium. Those people. They're not even in the same arena. So I don't know.
But these rate cut expectations, it's so secondary from my vantage point. I mean, I remember coming off the bear market of 2022. We had 2023, the beginning of the bull market. AI became a household name. And the market was looking for tons of rate cuts, especially after Silicon Valley went under. We didn't get anything until late last year, and the market didn't care, and that's because AI just dominates everything right now.
I love
So
that that's your favorite saying. AI dominates. Okay, okay, it dominates. What does that mean? Okay, the market is here at 6,800, up from 4,800. Okay, you got a headline out of
it
it.
means it's a binary outcome. That's what it
You
means.
got a headline out of the UAE that comes out at 11 o'clock or 11:30 at night when the stock is somehow open with no liquidity, and they move it $75 billion on a $2 billion chip deal out in the future. Not even like today. They're not buying the chips today. They're not even buying the chips next year. I mean, so it's a deal out in the future. All these deals are out in the future, and you're adding. How does a $2 billion deal in the UAE equate to $100 billion added in market cap? Just tell me how that works. Only in a bubble that can work.
Yeah, look, very headline driven market. Very headline. I was actually trading last night, and again, all year long, the Asian market session for futures trading is great. It's great setups. You get moves, and now it's like the U.S. session's going to open up in an hour. I'm sure
Well,
they're
what are you
they're not.
talking about? The S&P had its lowest range overnight that it's
I'm
had
not
in
even. I'm
months.
not talking about that. I mean, I was short the Nasdaq, and I saw that headline. I was just like, oh god, here we go again. This thing is gonna rip on this stupid news, and you know what? It didn't, and I was like, okay. And but
Okay,
look, I
so
was trading.
what does that mean? Okay, it's unchanged. What does that mean? Is that
Well, that's a data point. That means maybe I don't know. Maybe they're good. They're going to calm down a little bit. Maybe just a tad. I'm looking at the spread here. Take a look. I'm looking at a spread between Nasdaq, S&P, and you know what? Every time. it gets overbought. That spread gets overbought on a 15-minute chart. It's usually a good, if you want to get short, it's usually a good spot. Usually a good spot. So we got overbought after yesterday's close. And so that news came out and it didn't really move the NASDAQ. So to me, that tells me maybe, today, tomorrow is going to be a good day to maybe a little bit of air out of this thing may come off.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make you happy, man. I'm trying to get you
Okay, whatever. I'm not
about a
saying,
little
I'm not,
downside.
listen, I'm not saying anything, to be honest. I'm just sitting here. I'm not saying anything.
That's
Market,
perfect. When
markets
you
are
when
doing exactly what they want to do. Um, Really, what's interesting is, I mean, this Nvidia, I mean, it's just, it puts the internet bubble at a level that, listen, think about it. It's a $5 trillion stock. The entire stock market, okay, the entire stock market wasn't even like a trillion back in 99. This is five times bigger than the entire stock market in 1999, pretty much, maybe even more. Okay. Market caps were nothing like this. And it's
you
a
know what's
little,
interesting about 99, Cape ratio went above 40. I think it was like in January of that year, maybe
Mhm,
February.
mhm.
And it stayed up there, right? So everybody knew it was overbought. Everybody knew it was overvalued, but the market stayed like that for like a year and a half until it popped. So I don't know. It's tough timing the top.
Oh, dude, listen. That's it's never the top. So don't worry, it'll always go up. We're going on. Thomas is out today, but we're going on many, many, many months without a 1% correction. That's not a lot, you know, and I don't, I don't think people could handle that, to be honest. It won't be today, most likely, but maybe tomorrow. I mean, Nvidia is going to be a $200 stock with a $5 trillion valuation. Um, you know, they're adding trillions like you go to your wallet and take out $20. I mean, that's really what's going on here. They literally add trillions like water. It's You look at AMD, which, to be honest with you, I mean, I know they have the open AI deal. It's the greatest deal of all time, and it's going to make the company incredible. But it's a junk chip company. It really is. I mean, I'm not saying junk, but it's second tier. Okay, and all OpenAI, OpenAI is buying all their chips from Nvidia still. They're just doing a deal with them to get 10 to hostage 10. Why would AMD give potentially someone an opportunity to own 10% of the company for usage of energy? Um, which can't be hit. So I'm really just, I'm mystified by, what's going on in the market. So,
There's
that
not enough capacity in this space for the amount of demand everybody's penciling in. So all these deals, I think, are pointed to that. They want more capacity, but there isn't more right now for the amount of demand that everybody thinks is going to come online. So
I
it's
don't even know how it's all going to come online, but they're front loading all of this into the stock price times 20. So you get a $2 billion deal overnight. Okay, 2 billion. That's a lot, but not really a lot. It's like a twig. Okay, and the stock goes up $100 billion on that after going up 150 billion yesterday. So I don't understand. And what is the UAE doing to need $2 billion? I didn't read the deal, so I don't know if it's over 10 years or over whatever. But it's not today. And my question is, how much chip capacity does the UAE need? What are they doing? Tell me what are they doing? I know they're in AI too. They got AI. Everybody's got AI. They're in AI. Um,
Well, they've been wanting, well, UAE, Saudi Arabia, all the Gulf states want to diversify, especially Saudi Arabia.
and
They want,
it doesn't scare you that there's only one chip company out there, basically. I mean, AMD is so second tier. They're
yeah, I mean, I told you before we went on the air, I'm looking at all this, the way all these deals are set up now and all these alliances within the space. It's like one big company. I don't even look at them like individual companies anymore.
yeah,
I'm just looking at all of them
but
like
how
the same.
many AI companies are there that are doing this? It's legit one company. I mean, there's XAI or whatever. I don't even know. That's an Elon thing. I don't even know what that is. They're just adding on. But really, the entire AI is one company that's spending all this energy. It's not even money because they don't have money. Okay, they don't have a dollar to their name. So
Well,
they're
investment, right? Investors are pouring money in like crazy.
No, they're not raising, dude. They're selling employee stock, but they're not out actively raising capital at this moment. They've done, I don't know what round they're on. They've done a bunch, but they're not actively raising capital. So there's, I
No,
just
I
don't
mean,
think,
private equity is still looking. They're constantly looking to put money into anything related to this. Still,
well,
I mean,
listen,
you blame
I,
retail a lot, right? Which is warranted. I mean, I saw a graphic where Morgan Stanley came out that this is the biggest, um, retail inflow into the market ever. But private equity has been right there with retail, pouring money into this
Well,
thing.
private equity is retail. Okay, I mean it's mass retail. It's all money. Private equity is money that's being raised from investors, high net worth or retail. And what these firms do, like Morgan Stanley, they can give you access to a Carlyle fund with $1,000 because they pool millions and millions of dollars through their entity. So anybody is buying private equity. So I would say retail is a huge buyer of private equity. So private equity doesn't have their own money. Private equity is funded the same way that the stock market is funded by individuals, retail individuals. On private equity, it's mostly high net worth individuals, but yeah, it's the same thing. And private equity's job is to just buy companies and not think about it. They got money, it's free money, it's not theirs, and they buy companies. But I would just say, like today, looking at Nvidia, and it can go up a gazillion. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that it just doesn't make a heap of sense that a $2 billion deal would race this company up 4 points or $100 billion, and yesterday 150 billion. I mean, I know it is, so you got to accept it, but it just seems so frothy and so crazy. Like I saw that, and I saw the stock run like $3. There's no liquidity, but it ran $3, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, what's the news? Then I find the news and I'm like, that's the news. And, you know,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
we're on to the next day. And tonight they'll do a deal with, Taiwan for 1 billion and it'll run five more dollars. I mean, it's,
If I was a headline writer, I would like spoof the market a little bit and be like, "Hey, there's a deal. It's $2 million," and I'm sure like something tiny, and the market will still react like rip the stock up 5%. It's all over the place.
what do you mean? Listen to me. That's what a lot of these news services actually do. They're not coming up. Bloomberg's not getting the news from themselves. They're getting it from somewhere, and then they put out the red headline, and computers operate off the red headline, and it's pretty unbelievable that they do that. And we'll We'll see. Another day, nothing. Dead opening.
We got an interesting comment from one of our viewers, Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey, and he's like, might be a good idea to keep a small, far out of the money put in the background. Larry, that's right up your alley. What do you
Yeah,
think about that?
I think it's not a bad thing. That's like tail risk, basically. So when you buy a 3, 4, 5 month output for not a lot of money, you're hedging your tail risk, meaning basically your downside risk. And I think it's obviously it's a good thing to have. It's just an amazing thing. Volatility had its first down day in like 9 trading days yesterday. It got actually smashed. But it's the type of thing that I'm telling you. I think the best thing, don't buy an out of the money put. Maybe buy like some volatility. I don't think you have a lot of downside, and if we get any type of little correction, vol should really pop up. And the farther this market does go, which it's going pretty far, the chances of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6% pullback is gaining in strength. And it's funny, what are we, October 10th right now or 9th? We're somewhere, in that area, and the month is a third over. We've had one down day in the month. We're up April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. So this will be the sixth straight up month off the low. You got to think at some point we're gonna test something. I mean, again, but who knows? I mean, they could take Nvidia to $500 a share. It could be it could go to a market cap bigger than every stock market in the world combined, selling chips. I mean, come on. It's the craziest thing ever. I mean, this is literally, I was going to stay mellow, but I can't. I mean, this is the craziest thing ever. But again, it
I'm
can
looking at puts for Q, right? So Q's trading at like 611.50.
Mhm.
November 21st puts for 600 are at 1025. What do you think about that price?
Think it's high, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
buy that. I wouldn't buy that. I would buy something for like $2 or $3, down lower. And if you get the move, you're still going to make money, and you don't have to outlay $10 in Qs. I think $10 in Qs is a little crazy, but you know, that's just
Yeah,
me.
it's weird that it's that high, right? It's a little strange that it's that high.
Yeah, yeah, and
But going back to the headline driven market that we're in, what's interesting? It's like you buy something that makes sense to buy, and then you feel like the crazies out there just hijack the trade. It's like I'm in silver, right? I'm happy I'm in silver, but it's so correlated to the AI trade right now that it makes me think like at any point, like I'm going to need to get out. Another example
why would you
is
need to get
AS.
out?
Well, because it's been the theme right now is that silver's going up because they needed to outfit all these data centers and all this AI demand.
Dude,
So now
I
part of the
honestly think
crazy are getting silver and they're hijacking my trade.
I honestly don't even believe that's true. I think it's like a complete mantra. There's more silver around than anything ever. And silver,
Right.
talk about an amazing trade. It's literally up. It was $18 or $17 last year. I mean, it's like almost tripled
It's
in
at
price.
50. It's above 50 as we speak. So for
Yeah.
anybody holding silver, congratulations.
Up
Congratulations.
75%, dude. AI, baby, AI. Just say AI. And now AI is silver. And
Now
then
AI is silver. Oh my God.
what are you talking about? And AI is not gas. That's going to be the next one, probably to explode. Not gas. is AI. All AI. It's
But it's an
jackass
example of a
your
trade.
AI.
It's just an example of a trade that makes sense, and then in this market environment, it's so strange. They just hijack it. Another example is AST Space Mobile. It was trading at 37 like a month ago. It went up 123%. Now, this is a stock I like. I'm in it. I like it. I've been recommending it. But I'm getting out at 60. It's now trading at 80. And I'm feeling like an idiot for selling it at 60.
You know what, bro? You're showing your amateurness on the air,
Okay.
and
There you
I don't appreciate it. Okay, what we
go. All
teach
right.
people here is you make a trade. Oh wait, you're chirping on a bad note that you
No,
doubled
I'm
your
complaining
out,
about this market.
time out, because it's actually retarded. Okay,
All right.
you
All right.
literally doubled your money in a month. Okay, which is unheard of. I don't think I've ever done a trade like that in 40 years. Okay, you've doubled your money in a month and you're looking back because the stock's up $20. Like, why even look back? Why
Hey,
do you
you
care?
say it all the time. I'm a product of the times, man.
You are. Honestly, you are. I love that you said that, but it's so true, bro. You are a product. This is the market we're in.
Hey,
Like my friends are punching themselves for actually, that's not true. They don't sell. So my friends are still in, but people that I know in trading, not my friends outside of trading, okay? They're not nobody's looking back. They're dancing. If you made 100% of your money, you're not the happiest. Now you're looking back
I'm
at
like, you know me. I always look back.
$20. I
You
mean, I
know me. I
understand the
always look back.
point. I understand the point of that, but you're like bummed out. You're like, oh my god, I should have held it for another 20. Well, what if you didn't get 100%? In
Well,
trading, you can't
here's what I'm really upset about. I was hoping to keep this thing into earnings, but how can I keep it into earnings after 123% move?
because it's
So
going to
I'm
go up
hoping for a
more.
pullback. I'm probably not going to get one.
Because it's going to go up more. That's why. I mean, it's going to go
Yeah,
up
but this
more.
stock, that's the thing. This stock deserves to go up. It deserves to go up. And they
Why?
hijacked the
Why?
trade.
Why though? Why does it deserve it?
What do you mean? Why does it
Why?
deserve it? This is the first. Its revenue, unlike all these other AI companies, the revenue that's coming in for AST is ironclad. They have deals with companies like Verizon that they just came out with. They've just done tests with satellite to phone.
Dude,
So
listen to me. I
they're the
I
only
want
game
the
in.
people on the air to mark this down, okay? The stock deserves to go up, okay? And it's probably a company that 2 years ago either didn't exist or was like $1. Okay, now it's $80, and it deserves to go up. Okay, dude, this story hasn't been written, and I'm glad that we're doing this podcast because this is a product of the environment right here.
Okay,
Okay, he's mad because he doubled his money and it's up more, and he's still looking at the stock every tick. Okay, that's one. Two, the stock deserves to go up. It deserves it. Okay, it deserves to go up. You
fundamentally,
okay,
100%
dude?
deserves it.
These are all
100%.
products. These are all products
How
of a
could you say that if I'm not really bullish on AI right now? How could you say that?
I have no idea. I'm just talking about the way you're reacting to a stock that went up. I
I'm
mean,
just bringing up an example of how this market hijacks
why? But
trades
you
that
love the stock still.
are
You want to get
deserving
back
of
in it.
going up.
You want to get back in it. Good luck. I mean, come on,
I want to,
dude.
but
Dude, these stocks are
because you
all
run off on me so much, I'm gonna wait.
uh,
I can't buy high like this. It's crazy.
no, dude, I'm just saying this is just the product of the environment. I'm telling you, what you just did, everybody does. They're like, oh my God, I doubled my money in 2 months and I sold it and it's up another 20%. Oh my God, I want it back. I mean,
It's not
these
that I
are
want it. It's like you miss a pitch. You wish you hit that pitch. So
how are you ever going to know
a
if
little
you're
bit
going to sell
harder.
the? What if you didn't sell it and it went down and it went back where you bought it or lower? I mean, come on, dude. This is a trade, okay? This company doesn't have the cure for cancer. I know they're an AI. They've got the whatever an AI. They're whatever. Every dude, every single company in the country is an AI. It kind of reminds me of
Bro, as we're speaking on the air, silver just went up from 50. As we're speaking, it went up from 50 and it's trading almost at 51 as we speak right now. You know what? I'm going to pull this chart up. It's crazy. These are crazy moves, man.
wait, and you think this has no effect on the stock market? You don't think that this is inflationary action?
Yeah,
Okay.
the fact that gold, look, Kazakhstan, I think the last time anybody heard of Kazakhstan was when Borat, like the Borat movie. But they're another central bank that is just buying gold en masse. All these and that's where the demand came from. That's why I'm not afraid of holding gold because it hasn't been driven by retail. But again, now gold concerns me because, like you said, you and I were talking last night. Now retail has smelled profits in gold. They weren't
Retail,
trading
wait,
gold.
wait a second. Retail is always right. Just remember that. They're always right.
Look
So
at silver. It's
I'm just
crazy.
saying, like you're saying retail's in it. Retail is so max long the stock market and AI that it's unbelievable, but it doesn't matter. So, for right this minute, for whatever strange reason, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, we could walk in tomorrow and we could be limit down or whatever. It wouldn't shock me at all to see very large down moves because this is overowned and you see a move in Nvidia, like what they're doing is so different than what they've ever done. And what I mean by that is they have the ability to move Oracle, which is a top 10 company in the world, 50% in one day. I mean, that in itself is unbelievable. Okay. And then if you really look at the news, Oracle came out and said that they can't make money buying Nvidia chips. They literally said that. Nvidia chips are too expensive and they can't make money. And that doesn't affect anybody. Doesn't affect anyone in AI. Nobody. It doesn't affect anybody. So this is the market that we're in. And it's people always saying to me like, what's the event? You even say it, what's the news that's going to get us down? There's going to be small news that's going to move us big, and then price action is what's going to take us down. That's the next move. It's going to be price action. Okay, lower prices. No one's going to sell a single stock or anything until they go lower, and Nvidia is trading at 190, at 193 on the way to a million, but if that stock goes to 160, believe me, you're going to have sellers. You're going to have people, let's say the stock comes in into earnings and then they have bad earnings and it's down 30% in a day, 25%. What are sellers going to do then? So what I'm suggesting is either if you like your stocks, I would 100% recommend at this low volatility to buy puts to hedge your risk. Okay. So you could cap your risk. Let's say you're long Nvidia at $110 a share and it's trading 190, you can buy the 160 puts. So no matter what, you're stopped out in the stock at 160. Those are really good strategies. But I mean, like today in Nvidia is just an amazing move. It's an amazing move. I just don't even get it. Like it literally moved $3 in 2 seconds off a $2 billion deal. So that's where we're sitting.
We
Um,
have another. We have another really good question from our chat, which comes up with great questions. And by the way, you guys watching, ask us questions. It's a good thing. So Willie asks a very good one, and you and I have been talking about this. What do you think about Wall Street recommending switching your 60-40 allocation to 60-20-20 with a new 20% allocation in gold? Dalio's been talking about it.
I think you missed a lot of the moves since the gold is up 55% in the year. It was up 50 last year and 50 the year before. So, I mean, I would not recommend switching 20% into gold up at these levels. I mean, what do you? I mean, even you, who's the biggest gold bull I've ever met, where do you think gold's going? I know now you're going to say 8,000, 10,000, whatever. It's. I mean,
Listen, listen.
this is the
I'm going
market.
to say one thing. I'll say two things actually.
This is the market, Eric. This is the market we're in. Don't you get it? This is the market we're in.
But
If
from the question is about portfolio allocation. So there's a part of that has nothing to do with prices high or low. It's about the
of
like
course
how
it
well
is.
gold
Of course
diversified.
it. Of course it is. I mean,
Well, yeah,
it directly. Okay, you want to buy something up 120% and allocate 20% to your portfolio in that? I would say that that is a very difficult do. What I would say would be a good mix is if you want to diversify into gold, buy 5%, 2% of your portfolio. At least
wait
you're
for a
there.
dip and add. Wait for a dip and then add.
Well, yeah, and I wouldn't say, like in the US stock market, a dip is like 10 basis points. I'm talking percents, If it comes in at 3,500, add a little more. If it comes in at 3,000, listen, no one can imagine things going down, okay? Like, think about the asset froth that we have, okay? Look at it. They're buying, they're buying gold, they're buying silver, they're buying Bitcoin, they're buying every AI stock in the world, and they're buying the markets. I don't. I mean,
But historically, so that I think it's a great question, and I'm glad everybody's talking now about portfolio allocation, including gold. Gold has been like the best diversifier over maybe forever, but from the year 2000, there's two things I want to mention. From the year 2000 through 2012, like we're going on about 100% move in gold over the last 2 years, but from 2000 to 2012, gold went up almost 600%. And since 2000, you look at correlations versus the S&P, they are incredibly low, very low correlations. So, I mean, that's kind of what you want. The question is whether it keeps going up or not. But unless central banks stop buying, I don't see how, yeah, we could have a 200-point pullback because we're definitely overbought for sure. And now retail has gotten wind of it, which makes me nervous. But, you know, uh, once it starts trending, that these trends kind of last years in gold.
okay. I mean, we've lasted years, but okay. It's all good. This is. I don't. I think you could buy dog poop and it would go up. If they listed a stock called dog poop, it would go up. Okay,
Well, what's the
literally.
correlation of dog poop to the S&P?
All that all dog poop has to do is say it's an AI and it'll go up. I mean, this is what we got. And
Speaking of dog poop, you know what I think is more bloated than the AI trade right now?
what
Quantum computing.
I would say that's part of the AI trade. It's an offshoot.
What are you
And
talking about? They're saying the IONQ ticker, right? Like the CEO of that company, he's like, we're gonna wipe the floor with AI in like a couple of years. You look at the metrics; they're not even close to approaching anything over the next 5 years, even. And all of these insiders are selling all their shares, and the stock prices keep going up.
listen, the markets are I'm getting tired because I may have to carry on with this conversation for the next few months, which is annoying. But the markets are ridiculously, ridiculously overvalued in every metric, you know, PE, market caps, everything. But again, they could stay overbought like this forever. They don't, though. It's just hard when, listen, my main strategy that's worked for 40 years, and we haven't suffered like a period like this of 4 months of up like 70% Nasdaq or 60% Nasdaq, without a 1% pullback, in years and years and years and years, probably since the internet bubble. Okay, but our job is to be a bit cautious, recognize what is going on out there. Um, don't feel comfortable participating at these levels. Maybe it's a mistake, but come on. The NASDAQ's up 20+% for the year. Okay. Last year it was up 25. The year before it was up 25. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's funny. This is an anatomy of a rig. And what I mean by that is like, yesterday you felt like they blew the lid off the market, right? Market was up like 1% in Nasdaq. 1%. You just touched on silver. Silver moved more in a percentage basis in the last 5 minutes than the market moved yesterday. So, yes, we are blowing up to the upside and going up, okay? But we're not this is the anatomy of a algorithmic rig, okay? Where they're going in and you can watch it. Like Tesla will be bad today and Nvidia will be good. Then when Nvidia goes down, they buy Tesla. And then they roll into Amazon. And like my question to you is this. What's going to happen today? Because now in QQQ, the Mag 7 is 40% of QQQ. 40. What if they're all down in one day? Like the
You're
only
gonna have
way this market can do what it's doing, this rig, is by companies that are algorithmic, that have advanced quantitative models that say, hey, if Apple's down $1, we buy Nvidia up 2, that'll negate the weightings and the market will be flat off that. And now if we get it up 3, we'll get the market up. And now we're going to reverse Apple interday 50 cents and get out of Nvidia. And this is going on all day like this, all day back and forth. It's not pure
you
trading.
got it. You got the algo, dude. They call you the human algo for a reason.
No, dude, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I was a while ago. Okay. Now I'm too old and too slow. But like literally, you're not going to know today what, I mean, you will once you parse it out and I have it on my screen, what you're looking at. And now midday, you pick up the clue. You're like, oh, they're buying Nvidia and selling Apple. And if you do that trade, 15 minutes later, they'll be selling Nvidia and buying Apple. And
Yeah,
my
yeah.
question,
That algo's got to break at some point,
dude,
and it's
my
very
question
frustrating to
to
trade it.
you, dude, listen to me. My question to you is what is going to happen when all of these stocks are all down decently in one day? Okay, you have Nvidia down 2%, you have Apple down 4%, you have dude, you're going to have a Nasdaq down over 1,000, way over 1,000. Okay, that is they're controlling the rig right now. So they're able to do this. They're able to control the rig. It's beautiful for them. But when they lose control of the rig and they're not buying, like literally, like pull up the Mag 7 today. Can you pull them up?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's go over them.
I don't have a chart of the Mag
No,
Seven.
but there is a Mag 7 ETF. But no, I want to see it individually because we know Nvidia's up. I'm sure Apple is probably down. Okay. Tesla I saw was up overnight, but is now down. Okay. So this is what they do. And let's say Nvidia gave up the ghost today and went negative. That would really send the indexes tumbling, but what they would do is sell Nvidia and buy Tesla to hold
Yeah,
up
so
the
you're
index.
right. So Nvidia is up, Microsoft is down, Google is down, Apple is down,
Of
Netflix
course.
is down, Amazon is down,
Right.
Tesla is down.
Right. There you go. But you have one stock up like 3
Right,
plus.
exactly.
Okay. If that stock wasn't up 3 plus, the NASDAQ futures would be down 200 or 150.
The
Okay.
goalies are in. But by the way,
No.
our chat is saying Thomas is off today. They don't see Thomas in the background,
Oh, Thomas
and
is
they're saying
home.
they're right, and they're concluding as a result that since Thomas is off today, the market is actually going to fall.
Yes, they figured it out. We had to get Thomas out of the background. Oh,
It's
that
funny.
is
Even the
funny.
chat knows. Even
That
the
is
chat
funny.
knows.
Anyway, let's just touch a little on the markets there. Kind of weird. Oil was down overnight, up this morning slightly. Um, bonds lower. You know, it's funny. Bonds higher or lower don't matter to the market. Government shutdown doesn't matter. Nothing matters to the market. I just don't know how. I don't know if what's his name spoke yet. Do you see comments out of Powell? I know he's speaking this morning. I thought he was talking earlier, but he hasn't. So um, I don't know if he spoke, but overall, the big trade right now is silver up basically 4% on the day, above $50, and gold, which was down 40 overnight. You called me in a panic at like 10 o'clock, and then it rallied back and is now up, 10. So
I think it fell overnight. Maybe some profit taking on the hostage deal.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that was the reason oil was down, but to me, I mean, oil feels well supplied. Okay. The news out of the Middle East is probably, if this does materialize, probably is the best news that we've had out of the Middle East in years, literally years. Because now you have the governor, us as a country, on top of this deal. So if any of these guys mess around, we're going to take full offense to that. So I think that there's someone manning the ship. So you don't really have that geopolitical um, risk in oil. And, the next thing to come probably is Russia, at some point. I don't know whatever happened with that, but that's quieted down. But anyway, Touchdown T is not behind us. We're running late in the podcast. So
Powell did speak, by the way, and
what happened?
he did speak. Powell
What do you
said the
say?
outlooks for the labor market and inflation, blah 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 blah. I mean, same old. There is no risk-free path.
Right.
Near-term risks to inflation are tilted to the upside, and risks to employment to the downside. We've been hearing this every single speech, basically.
Yeah, but I don't get it. What's he thinking?
Well, he's probably favoring the labor market for the. I mean, it looks like the market
Over
is.
I think inflation is potentially the boogeyman here. Moving forward. That's just
It's
my
weird. Commodities have been going up and up, and we don't see any of that in the CPI. And that's probably a lot to do with the what commodities have been going up. It's been metals,
right.
driving things. Maybe you don't see that in the CPI, but it's weird.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Um, I think that metals are inflation. I think a lot of this trade, especially when you look at someone like Ray Dalio, this is all 19, he's talking 1970 style inflation. Robert Rubin, who's probably the smartest Secretary of the Treasury that we've ever had, was on. It's funny. I looked at him. He looks so old, and it made me feel really old because I was in my 20s when he was the Secretary of the Treasury, and I remember him when we were. How about this? No one can even relate to this, and my people that are watching here should. Robert Rubin walked down the steps of the Treasury, okay, to a podium when the stock market was limit down, limit down, limit down. There was no trading. Okay. No one even knows what that is. There was no trading. There was Armageddon and panic. He walks to the mic and he says, "Buy America." And basically, the market basically stabilized. I'm sure the Fed was buying. Okay. But, that's, where he's at. And he's very rah-rah. He was the most bearish, sanguine guy that I've ever seen. He's talking about inflation. He's talking about the administration. He's talking about stock prices, and he's talking about an asset bubble. And again, these are not Valio him. These are all billionaires or close to billionaires. In Robert Rubin's case, and nobody's listening. You got some guy, Hello Kitty or Roaring Kitty sitting in a game. Dude, he's sitting in a gaming chair. He's got a setup like Thomas behind me, and he's gaming it up and he's memeing out and he's, spoofing like there's no tomorrow. He's like, guys, let's all put out bids, blow the stock up and almost sell it. I mean, this is what's going on. The amount of not real stuff out there is at epic levels. But again, you know, I come in and I think today's going to be a great trading day, and then I get here and it's like, okay, nothing, and they're going to try to buy it like they do every day. We'll see if it holds. Anyway, I don't know if you want to close on anything, but
Well, Thomas isn't here today, so give it a chance.
all right. Listen, peace, everyone. Have a great day.